You're now tuned in to the Two Dudes, One Ball Fantasy Football Podcast.
And we are live. Thank you. Welcome in, listeners. This is an exclusive episode, our first ever episode of Two Dudes, One Ball Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Michael Eck, my partner alongside of me, Ryan Green. We are here not only our first time ever doing this show, our first time bringing our passion to a reality. We are here, give you guys the most and the funnest, best podcast alive. I'll start off. My name is Mike Legg. Originally born and raised in New Jersey. I have moved to North Carolina. Huge Baltimore Raven fan, huge fantasy football fan. I've been playing fantasy for 7, 8 years now. I got multiple first place trophies and across multiple different types of leagues, redraft, keeper leagues, all different kinds of leagues you can think of, 2 quarterback, head coach leagues. And I'm here to just share my love, my knowledge of the game, and my passion for fantasy football and try to give everybody who's listening the best chance to win their league, their championships, and take home your trophies or whatever it may be, cash prizes. And Ryan is here. He'll give you a brief introduction of who he is. Ryan, go ahead, take it away.
What's going on? I'm Ryan Green, born and raised in New Jersey. If you can't tell, big Giants guy here. Same as Mike, playing fantasy for many years since I think I started in high school. Actually, Mike put me on, and I sucked, so I devoted my life to becoming great. So obviously, again, multiple championships under my belt. It's a lot of fun, super passionate about it. And so we figured why not start a podcast up and give you guys the knowledge that we have. Not everyone can do the research that we do, so might as well give it here in a fun, enjoyable little format. So
Yeah.
let's get into
And
it.
we're in our joint league together. We have a league where we play, and it's always fun going head to head against Ryan. He's come a long way since joining fantasy, and student becomes a master in a way. He's come a long way, and for sure, he's definitely won that league a few times. In other leagues, I'm sure. And like I said, we both are excited. We're thrilled about this chance to actually get our passion, our love to you guys and your listeners. With that said, comment below any questions and, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. They're in the video. They'll also be in the description. Two Dudes, One Ball FF on Instagram, Two Dudes, One Ball on Twitter. Please, we have a link tree in our Instagram. If you have any questions, you can go there. And also, that will bring us to our YouTube channel. And we ask if you enjoy this channel, subscribe and leave comments down below. We appreciate everything and all your support and love. Thank you very much. From the bottom of our heart, this is just a dream of ours, a passion of ours. You guys are making it happen. We appreciate it so much. Well,
Let's get into it.
with that, we're gonna go right into it, and we're gonna go into our segment for news real quick called Breaking Balls, and this is where we're gonna bring you the up-to-date news, anything that's going on in the league, in the NFL, trades, injuries, you name it. This is where we're gonna cover it. And because there's not a lot going on right now, we're a month past the free agency start date. There really hasn't been much going on in the last few weeks. Maybe one thing happens a week, but this past 3 days have been kind of a little different. We've had the Orlando Brown trade from the Ravens to the Chiefs, which is we're gonna talk about that. We have from last night and this morning the Julio Jones trade rumors, and then everything else going into it is about the people mock drafting and who is gonna draft. Justin Fields, Mac Jones, where's Kyle Pitts going, who's getting a running back, all that, and then how good Zach Wilson will be if the Jets take him. So with that, we're going to start off, like I said, we're going to go into the Julio Jones trade rumors that have really started to spark up within, like I said, the last day. Almost, it's not even 24 hours, and they've really started to heat up over the last day and a half now. But with that, the Falcons, I personally don't think for fantasy relevance, Julio traded from the Falcons to anybody, it's really not going to impact him that much. We both have him in the wide receiver 1 range, which if you don't know, wide receiver 1 is 1 to 10 or 1 to 12. We're going to go 1 to 12 just because standard leagues are 10 to 12 people, so we're going to do 1 to 12. And he on our rankings is running wide receiver 1 range with the Falcons. Now, if he happens to leave, I personally think the Ravens are a good fit. Ryan, what do you think? I mean, I think if he goes to the Ravens, Ravens don't have to give up a lot. They have 2 first rounders. They have a few seconds, thirds in the next years. They can take him, and I think he'd still be a wide receiver 1 for a team that doesn't pass that much. Julio's just that good.
Yeah. See, I have to disagree with you here. I think if Julio goes to the Ravens, that's great for the team, helps them a lot. But as far as fantasy goes, I mean, how many times have we put our faith into Hollywood Brown to try and be something for us?
That's
Like
true.
they don't pass the ball nearly enough. Even Mark Andrews is probably their target share leader. He's so inconsistent, So I think if Julio goes there, it's great for the team. I don't know about fantasy. He might still be able to put up wide receiver 1 numbers. He might get peppered, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I see him going to a team that can afford his cap number. So like maybe a team like the Jags. I know they were rumored to move DJ Chark.
That'd be a good one.
Move Chark. You bring Julio in, an old veteran presence for Trevor Lawrence, obviously. So I feel like that's probably maybe more realistic than. I don't know how the Ravens cap situation is, but I could see him going to the Jags, some team like that.
Ravens cap middle of the the middle of the pack with everybody else. They're about, I think, 14th, 15th, somewhere around there.
Okay.
They usually do a good job spending their money, holding their money, but they do like the young guys. But in recent years, the wide receiver they had, they bought in Mike Wallace, who was kind of at the end of his career. They bought in Steve Smith at the end of his career. So this is just one of those things where they can potentially, hey, we got 2 first-round picks. We're gonna, instead of drafting a rookie who the rookies they've been drafted recently haven't been working. Hollywood Brown, he's good, not great. He hasn't lived up to like what a lot of people want. Miles Boykin hasn't really had the chance on the field that much. Brashard Perriman a few years ago, not good. You got guys like who haven't had a chance. Porsche, or he's good. And I watched his highlights at SMU, and he's got a lot of good highlights, but they just don't give him a chance. James Porsche, that is. So I think Julio would be a great fit for them. I still think he'd be a wide receiver 1 on the low end again. But yeah,
Right.
I agree. The Jags is not. You mentioned the Jags. Jags are probably a lot of people don't look at the Jags. They're probably bringing in, most 99.99% sure they're bringing in Trevor Lawrence. They moved DJ Chark. They moved him out of there. Their wide receivers are really just Laviska Shenault. Like, they lost Allen Hurns. And if you lose Chark, I don't even know how much deeper that depth chart goes. Chenault played well last year for rookie wide receivers, but they could definitely, if they lose Chark, they need a stud. They definitely need a stud, and that'd be a good.
Could also see the Falcons using Julio as a way to get back into the first round. Say they do end up drafting Pitts.
That's true.
They can move right back into the first round with Julio. Maybe package something together, try and grab a defensive player for that team. So
yeah, that team. We all know that team needs a lot of help. We both know. But in other words, if they don't move Julio, that still keeps him at that. He's still gonna be good for the Falcons. He's gonna be that wide receiver 1 with Ridley up there. They're both phenomenal players. So I mean, it'll be weird, definitely odd to see him not in a Falcon uniform, to say the least.
Right.
Just seeing that red 11 almost every Sunday is what you expect. But hey, we're not GMs. We're only here to love fantasy and evaluate his fantasy perspective and his fantasy outlook. And I think, no matter where he goes, he's still going to be a Hall of Fame stud wide receiver and produce for you. So,
yeah. So speaking of fantasy outlooks here, Orlando Brown to the Chiefs.
Yes, sir.
Huge. I feel like that's huge for Mahomes.
Yes, sir.
Helps the whole team. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, huge for them. We saw Mahomes get banged up and couldn't really compete in the Super Bowl with that offensive line. So they did not hesitate. So that's a huge ad for them. And the Ravens didn't slow down either with bringing in offensive linemen. Orlando Brown obviously didn't want to be there. Said he's only playing left tackle, so he's being a little diva. So I feel like they definitely got good value for him, and yeah. So.
He's stubborn in the right ways. He was left tackle in college. They bought him in. They transitioned to right tackle because Ronnie Stanley was their guy at left tackle, and a lot of people forgot about Ronnie Stanley now that he's down. The Ravens replaced an awesome season from the left tackle in Orlando Brown with an even better player in Ronnie Stanley. They just got to secure that right side now. But needless to say, the Chiefs, they got their guy at left tackle to protect Mahomes, and that. I mean, Mahomes is great. He's going to be great. He's going to be your locked and loaded quarterback 1 every game in fantasy, no matter who he's playing. You can blindfolded, put Mahomes in, and don't look back. He's gonna get you those
Right.
points. But this kind of impacts Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who had a decent season last year. Not as great as everybody anticipated, but still good enough for your running back 2 range. And this is just going to bolster his offensive line and help give them, along with Kyle Long, who they signed a few weeks ago, almost a month ago probably now. Um, this is perfect. He gets more opportunities, more reps behind that better offensive line, and can give him more touches and more opportunities. And so it's only positive things for Clyde Edwards-Helaire
Yeah.
going into this season. I mean, with that, we're gonna quickly. I want to touch on, before we transition to our pre-draft rankings, early rankings. We're gonna cover quarterback rankings, say 1 through 12, and we're gonna cover our running back rankings 1 through 12 pre-draft. Again, early pre-draft. Nothing is set in stone. As we get closer to the season, we will update this because the moves will be finalized.
Right.
How chemistry works out with some teams and stuff, and as we learn more
And
about practice and how reps are going and no pads and the workouts. So yeah.
and we're gonna be uploading 3 times a week, so the content's always gonna
Yes.
be fresh.
Yes.
So
We're looking to, we'll be here. Again, I know I said in the beginning, but turn that bell on. You'll know when we post a video, and comment, let us know your thoughts and opinions down below.
yeah, show some love. Show some love to the dudes.
We're very interested in what you guys have to say. So just, this is for you guys. We're 2 dudes who want to just share our love for fantasy and our news and help everybody who listens. With that, we're gonna Ryan talk about the draft real quick. Where do you think, or who do you like fantasy outlook, outside the quarterbacks, outside, Lawrence, Wilson, Fields, and these guys? Who's a player you like and where? And like, what are your thoughts on that?
Okay. So first, I'm going to talk about Elijah Moore. He is a stud. He's kind of flying under the radar here with this great wide receiver class we have, obviously led by Chase Waddle and Devontae Smith. But Elijah Moore is no joke. I mean, great over the middle. He's 5'9". He's definitely small, but if he ends up landing with the Packers, which I know it's a rarity these days for them to invest in something that can help their quarterback, but if they can land Elijah Moore at the end of the first, I think he'd be amazing on that team. He's getting Aaron Rodgers there to pepper him with targets, so that obviously targets are a huge part in how rookies produce. So if he goes right there, he fit right in, and I think that'd be great for fantasy. And also, I want to talk about Pitts. I know we differ on Pitts where we have him going, where we mocked him landing. But if he ends up going to the Panthers, I feel like that would just be incredible for him, for the team. They have great receivers. Obviously, McCaffrey. You're bringing in Darnold. You might as well try and make it work with him. Who knows how it'll pan out. But if you put a guy like Pitts on that offense, that'd just be incredible. So those are my main 2 guys and where I want them to land.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more, man. Elijah Moore, I like him. Nice speedster out of Ole Miss. He's gonna be great. Whoever gets him, I hope he lives up. He hasn't had a lot of hype coming out of him, like Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, Waddle. He doesn't have that, but he does have the breakaway speed and that game-changing speed. So hopefully wherever he goes, the Packers would be an awesome fit for fantasy because he won't impact Adams as much, but he'll
Right.
definitely be a step over Alan Lazard and Marquez Valdez-Scantling for sure.
Absolutely. Who you got?
I like Travis Etienne. I like him. Personally, anywhere he goes, I like those Chris Johnson kind of guys. That's what a lot of people have been calling him, and the speedster. I I really ideally I'd like to see him. We talked about it, him and Zach Wilson on the Jets potentially get 2 rookies, 1-2 punch. The Jets could use a running back. They're improving their O line. They have a head coach who we watched, who was under Kyle Shanahan, who's an offensive minded guy in the San Francisco 49ers. That's Robert Saleh we're talking about here. He's a defensive minded coach, but he definitely took a thing or 2 from Kyle Shanahan. There's no doubt about that.
Right,
And
the
he's
running
gonna
back whisperer over
yeah,
there.
he's gonna do something if he gets Travis Etienne, and I'm excited to see him play. I mean, Najee Harris has a lot of more hype around him, but Travis Etienne will be, I think, at the end of the day when we look back, probably the better running back prospect. you can make a good case for either one, but that's what I like. And alongside of him, I will agree with Kyle Pitts. I want to see a world where Kyle Pitts falls a little bit, and maybe one of these teams within the 14 to 20 range take him. But realistically, I think the Panthers are going to lock and load. They probably should go offense line, but they'll go him and make that young offense even better and younger. Trading for Darnold, having McCaffrey come back and healthy, who's a monster. DJ Moore is young and good. Robbie Anderson. You add Kyle Pitts to that, and that offense, shoosh, it's just gonna be scary.
Yeah.
It's gonna be scary.
Scary is right.
And he'll be a top tight end, too in fantasy.
Which is rare for rookies, but he's definitely a
Yeah.
different breed. Different
Yeah,
breed, that guy.
he's a grown man. He's built different around here. So we'll definitely be watching that and watching how that plans out after Friday or after Thursday night. I should say Friday. We will definitely cover where he went. Because everybody's gonna be want to know what do we think? What do we think? Where do you think? So we'll definitely get into that. All right, guys. With that, the moment of truth, what we all been waiting for. We're gonna cover our early pre-draft quarterback rankings. And what we did is we both made our rankings, and then we're going to average it out and, do a consensus of our top 12. Like I said, our quarterback 1, our running back 1, our wide receiver 1, and tight end 1 is 1 through 12. And we're going to give you our 1 through 12 quarterbacks, and then we'll go into the running backs. Why we have them there, who we like, and this upcoming season. Remember, again, this is early. Things will change, obviously, after Thursday and closer to the season as we get closer to a lot of, league draft days in, August. So with that said, we're going to start off, Ryan. We got, you want to do quarterback 1? Do you want to take that away? You want me to do it?
You know what? Yeah, I'll give you quarterback 1.
All right, so quarterback 1 we have is the obvious. Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. We both have him at 1, so that locks him in at number 1. This guy, like I said, again, put him in your lineup. Don't even look back. Everybody knows that. It's pretty
Mahomes.
Unheard of.
That's end of conversation on that one.
Yeah.
Especially with that O-line.
Yes, improving too. Go ahead. Number 2.
Who you got for number 2, Meek?
Number 2 is our boy, my hometown guy, Lamar. He's number 3 for you. He's number 2 for me. So he's going to be locked in number 2. He come down off a slightly bad year last year, is what they say. But realistically, his numbers were not as different. His touchdowns were down. His fumbles were up. But we can all live with that. He's going to learn. They're going to add pieces to this offense. His O-line's going to be healthy. He's going to have his big boy left tackle, Ronnie Stanley, back. Dobbins will be there to help the offense and the running game more. Take some load off of Lamar, even though he's going to run for 1,000 yards. He's your guy.
That's what it comes down to, is the rushing yards with Lamar. He's a stud, locked in.
Yeah, he's your guy.
All right. Number 3. Big number 3, Kyler Murray. I have him actually as number 2 in my rankings. I think I'm definitely a little, 2 and 3 is not that big of a deal, but I'm a little lower on Lamar this year. But we saw Kyler last year be the quarterback 1 while he was healthy. I know he definitely got banged up towards the end of the year, but you got Hopkins on that team. Their O-line's a little shaky, but that's where his rushing upside comes in. And yeah, so I got Kyler at 3.
Yeah, for sure. And he's going to be able to make mobility and make stuff happen with his legs. He's always a dual threat. That's what we like. These guys are rushing upside, are going to be up here. At number 4 brings in Josh Allen, who had an amazing year adding a Diggs last year. And Ryan's got him at 4. I got him at 4. He's our locked in number 4. Josh Allen's another guy who's going to build on that incredible season. Hopefully, might take a step back just a little. He had 400 points in a standard PPR, no additional point format last year, which is the highest of anybody last year. So congrats to him. He did win, Fantasy Player of the Year for most leagues that have that standard format. Josh Allen, people might know Josh Allen Diggs now, so we're going to put him at 4 still, but still you can go to him now and trust him week-to-week basis. He's your guy.
Sure. All right. Number 5. We got Dak Prescott. Obviously, we saw what Dak did last year. It was absurd in the 5 games that he played. He had almost 2,000 yards, which is just unheard of. Obviously, that defense is bad, and it's still bad. So
On top,
I only see Dak getting better. So
just noted too. I mean, a lot of people might not know this, but Dak did average almost 28 points per game in standard format while he was healthy in that first 4 or 5 games,
right,
before breaking his leg, which was a tremendous injury. And he was averaging almost 400 passing yards, dude. Like that is incredible. Like
actually ridiculous.
for sure, if he was healthy the whole year, he probably wins the MVP and blows out a lot of people. Just to put in perspective, Josh Allen averaged 284 yards per game. Patrick Mahomes 316. The fact that he was almost at 400 in 4 or 5 games that he played is mind blowing. So yeah,
Right.
Dak, debating on if he comes back, we have him, at 5. He should be locked and load again, guy. I just hope for the best for Dak because that was a gruesome injury, but hopefully he comes back and rehabs great. That's 6. Coming in at number 6, our boy from Seattle, Russell Wilson. We each have him at 6, so he's going to be ranked at 6 this year for us. Russell is another guy with a bunch of rushing upside. Doesn't really, he gets sacked a lot, but he doesn't give up. He doesn't like turn over the ball a lot. He'll give you your touchdowns. He'll give you your yards. He disperses the ball to each one of his wide receivers. Lockett will hit him with a 75 burner touchdown, and DK Metcalf maybe the next week. But he'll get you your points, and he'll get you your game, and he'll play
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah. Russ's biggest thing is inconsistency. It's year in, year out, never fails. He'll start off super hot, and then he'll cool out as the season goes on. Obviously, their head coach loves to run the ball, so a healthy Chris Carson could take away from his upside as well. That's why he's not ranked super high, but 6 is still obviously QB1. You play him every week, and
Without
you
a
don't
doubt.
really think much about it.
Yep. All right. With that, our number 7 coming in will be Aaron Rodgers. I have him at 5. Ryan's got him at 8. So he's going to come in at our 7 spot here. Aaron Rodgers is a guy who, again, they didn't really add much to him in this offseason, but he made it work. MVP. He makes it work. Aaron Rodgers, no doubt. Discount double check for sure. He'll have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he'll have Devontae Adams all day. Amazing, that duo. And they hopefully, if they add Elijah Moore, who knows?
Right.
Rodgers could go up even more, as long as they, don't mess up that draft last year. They kind of did him a little dirty with not, drafted to help him and kind of looking like they were going to replace him.
Running back and a quarterback. I threw up in my mouth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of people. I couldn't imagine if you're a Cheesehead fan how that.
No, I can't. Did you see the thing where Rodgers? He said when he saw the pick, he went and poured himself. I forget what it was, Jack Daniels or something. It'll be a long night. Poor guy.
They do that again, he'll probably retire in the spot and go to Jeopardy. He'll probably go to Jeopardy full time. Oh man. All right.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little risky.
It does, and we're gonna, I'm gonna put a little asterisk next to this guy because this is, again, we'll want to reiterate this. It's early. Anything can happen.
Right.
But at number 8, we do have Watson. I have Watson at 9. Ryan's got Watson at 7. He averages out at 8 for us there. You might be thinking, ask yourself, is Watson going to play this year? We don't even, no one knows. No one really knows. So right now he's going through the lawsuit. They're trying to prove things. His lawyer released some stuff. But regardless the fact, let's get back to football. When Watson plays, the dude's a monster. He's good. He's good. He's just as good as any of these other guys we named above him. And he will perform for you. It sucks. I was going to say stinks. I don't want to be nice. It sucks that Bill O'Brien got rid of his number 1 target last year in Hopkins, costing him his job. And they don't really have anything else. Will Fuller left, tested positive for PEDs, suspended 1 game. Now he's signed with the Dolphins. Other than that, he's got Brandon Cooks, who's looking to hit the fountain youth and come back a little bit. Bounce back last year with 1,000 receiving yards. But other than that, he will need some help.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's it. Watson's great if he plays. We don't know anything yet on if he's going to play. Could be one of those things that drags out through the season. So, you draft him and all of a sudden, week 7 comes around and he's done. You know what I mean? So it's a risk, and obviously these rankings will be updated as we get closer. But as of now,
it kind of reminds you of like what was that 2018 Ezekiel Elliott 2019 with that scandal where you draft him, he kept what's the word I'm looking for? He kept appealing his suspension, appealing. He played 6 weeks when a lot of people were like, why don't you just take the 6-game suspension and then play the next 10 games? Instead, he played 6 and then missed the last season. So fantasy perspective, that sucks. But
Yeah.
Again, we don't know. It's all speculation at this point. He might play the whole year. He might not play a single game. He might play every game. He might play half the season. We'll know. We won't
Right.
know. No one will know until it's announced. All right, with that, after Watson, here coming in at 9 is Justin Herbert, the second-year player quarterback out of Oregon. I have him at 7. I'm a little bit higher on him than Ryan. Ryan's got him at 11, so that brings him in at 9. Herbert last year, phenomenal. Everybody was waiting for like, oh, that's just a fluke game. That's just a fluke game. That's just a no. He started torching up the good teams. You know, he torched up the Chiefs. He torched
Breaking
up.
records.
Breaking record. He torched up the Bucks defense, the Super Bowl winning defense. He beat they didn't win, but I'm pretty sure they were up a lot in that game, and he looked really good against them. So Herbert, nothing but love this season. You know, he played phenomenal. Hats off to him. Uh, we just build on that for a second year, and he also does bring a little bit of a rushing upside. He ran a lot at Oregon. He didn't run that much last year. He did lose Eckler for a big portion of the season, which hurts because his running back play after Eckler went down was abysmal.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll bring back. He did lose Hunter Henry, his go-to tight end, but he did add Jared Cook, and that's veteran hands there. So, and Keenan Allen, as long as Keenan Allen stays healthy, stud. Mike Williams, he'll play 2
Right.
games, hurt his back, play 2 more games, hurt his leg. Mike Williams will be there. So
And they're probably going to add offensive line in the draft too, so that only helps them.
Yeah, which they've been doing too in the offseason. Noted that they have been adding a lot of offensive lines to protect their young quarterback, and Herbert should be building on that stellar offense.
Yeah.
All right, coming in at number 10, the man from LSU, the stud, the cigar. Hurt last year, but looked great in some games. He was a QB2 some games. We have him here at 10 is Joe Burrow. I have Joe Burrow personally at 10. Ryan's got him at 9, so that puts him a little bit lower than Herbert, so he will be at 10. Again, I can't say this enough. Joe Burrow looked impressive some games last year. Other games he kind of looked shaky, but that I believe, and I think a lot of people will agree, is the product of that O-line. You can't really blame Zach Taylor. You can't really blame Joe Mix. You can't really blame anybody. That O-line is awful. And that should be the number one. There's people saying, oh, they're going to take Jamar Chase. Nah, that'd be dumb. Take Sua. I don't want to touch on the draft again, but take Sua.
Who? Take who?
Pene, Siwa, take him, lock him in that left tackle. That guy's huge. He's huge. He'd be a beef though line, dude. Regardless, Burrow. Hopefully, I wish him the best. In our division, he's got tough matchups twice against the Steelers, twice against the Ravens, twice against the Browns. And no easy task for that man. And I tip my cap to him because he played great last year in some games. Like I said, he was a quarterback, I think 3 on 1 week or 2, and he does bring a rushing upside sometimes.
Right.
And he does have a cannon, so that's
just solid. I mean, I'm ranking him here, hoping that he takes a step in year 2, and assuming they do draft Penei Sewell. That's how you say
Sewell, yeah, Sewell.
And bolster that O line for him because obviously that injury was gruesome, but
it was.
He's just a solid quarterback, and the other guys we have below him have a little more risk than that. So
yeah, that is for sure. You look at some of the guys we haven't named yet, and they all bring a little bit of risk. Joe Burrow, young, looking to build on that rookie year. He still is probably hyped up from that championship he won at LSU. That was a phenomenal run they had in college. He's good. He's going to be good. The kid's going to be good for years to come as long as he stays healthy and they build that O-line. That's needs to be the Bengals' number 1 priority. All right. With that, we're going to go to 11, and we got Ryan Tannehill. I have him at 11. Ryan's got him at 10. He's going to round up to 11 for us. Ryan Tannehill is a guy who, yes, he has Derrick Henry. Yes, he's got A.J. Brown. Yeah, he lost Jonnu. They lost Adam Humphries. But Tannehill, ever since he left Adam Gase, awesome. The dude's awesome on the Titans. Play action. They get the run game going with Henry, which is a no-brainer, going to happen every time. The guy's huge. And they get the play action going, and he is phenomenal in the play action. You watch his ball, he's crisp. He is so good when it comes to the play action. They need to, they're getting their offensive line healthy. They're going to look to add more O-line, bolster up that deep offensive line for Tannehill. And Tannehill, I believe I just had it. He was one of the highest completion percentages for a quarterback under center, which last year, which Yeah, completion percentage doesn't really mean much, but that means he's getting his targets completed. That means he's getting the ball to AJ Green. He's getting the ball to those guys. They lost a few
Right.
pieces, but he's gonna be good for you. He's a guy who can put up 250 yards, 3 touchdowns for you in a week you need him. Smash spot. He'll be your quarterback one, and on weeks where he's got an easier matchup, he's got such high upside, and that's what I love about him. I'm pretty sure Ryan's
Right.
the same way.
Yeah, I love him. I mean, what doesn't get talked about enough with Tannehill is his rushing upside. He does run the ball quite a bit, and on those keepers, like the defense has to respect Derrick Henry so much that he has wide open grass, like
All the
how
time.
Daniel Jones does on those keepers that he does. But Tannehill doesn't tend to trip,
Yeah, he doesn't get sniped.
so
from
I
the
just
stands.
he's always a solid quarterback one ever since being with the Titans. So
Yeah.
that's where we're keeping him.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun year. And rounding out, we're gonna finish up this early pre-draft quarterback rankings here at number 12. We both have him at 12, and that's Jalen Hurts. And this, you guys, might be like, but the Eagles, they're struggling. They're doing nothing right this offseason. But that's all right. Jalen Hurts, literally, what we've been talking about, a lot of these guys above him is rushing upside, and Jalen Hurts has a chance to bring that rushing upside, like a Kyler Murray, like a Lamar. If he doesn't have if he has a 3 touchdown game, 2 of them are rushing touchdowns. That's what he has a chance to do. And those rushing touchdowns, we all know, provide more points than passing touchdowns in standard and league formatting. That's what makes him better than some of the guys below him, like a Stafford, like a Goff, like a Fitzpatrick, like a Cousins. He's better than these guys because of that rushing upside and what he has. And
Right.
plus, he still has Goddard. They still have Ertz at this moment, right? So
Yes, they do.
So Ertz and Goddard too are 1-2, great. The rookie Jalen Rager they had last year, got hurt, got banged up a little bit, but he didn't look terrible in his game playing.
Right, exactly. Fulgham did his thing.
Fulgham was a wide receiver 1 over the span of 3 weeks. Like he literally was the top wide receiver in like 3 weeks. Carson Wentz turned over the ball too much, and Jalen Hurts didn't take enough risks. Is like the problem what they have. They bought in Joe Flacco. I think Hurts can win that job. Flacco will be a great mentor for Hurts. Like he did with Lamar, trying to teach him as much as he can. Hurts is just going to be phenomenal. And again, we can't touch on it too much. But if he gets into a panic mode and gets, sacks about to come, that old line might get a little old and shaken up. He's gonna run. And they're gonna design runs for him. It's what you want to see. So he definitely does bring high upside. He kind of reminds me, Ryan, of Josh Allen 2 years ago without Diggs. Like
Yeah.
when he had the rushing upside, didn't really have options to pass to. But like if you
Right.
played a bad defense, you can play Allen. He'll get you 100 rushing yards and maybe a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown with 200 yards, and that's perfect. That'll beat some guys on some bad. If Rodgers has a tough matchup against the Bears, who he usually doesn't perform very well against, because defensively the Bears are great, Rodgers will get 12 points that week. Allen will get 20, or he did get 20. And Hurts can do the same thing this week. He can potentially beat out some people with tougher matchups against these tougher defenses. As we know, some teams, we don't know everybody's schedule, but, once that is released, we'll be able to determine, the picks of the week, sleepers, upside weeks for people and guys like that. Again, let us know your thoughts about our quarterbacks in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you guys hear. We want to hear these things. We want to know what you guys are thinking.
Right. We didn't name somebody. Let us know who you think belongs in this tier.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a rookie. I know this is early pre-draft, but you can say, yeah, Lawrence decides to be 12. If you believe that much in him, let us know. We're here. We're curious. We want to know what you guys think at all times, man. Just tell us everything. We love it. With that, Ryan, that's our quarterback.
Running back time?
Yeah, running back time it is, man. That's our quarterback.
All right, finally the fun stuff.
Yes, this is what everybody's looking for, the running backs. This is where it gets interesting, especially in PPR. These guys are very versatile in PPR. They got the running and then they get the passing. They can do both. And that's where it, makes one guy better than the other, And we're going to talk mainly about our rankings on a PPR format here, just so everybody's aware of that. Quarterback, a lot of leagues are standard between, half PPR, and standard. It's pretty much the same for quarterbacks. But running back wise, we're going on a PPR format here. So that means 1 point per reception. With that,
Okay,
Ryan,
you want to start it off?
Me? Go ahead, sir. Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Take it away.
All right. This is a hard one here. Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, so tough.
Do I need to say anything else?
So tough. I mean, we could just talk about he only played 4 games last year, but those 4 games he played in a PPR format, 37 points per game, and I think we could end that sentence right there and leave it at that. He is a no-brainer redraft league #1. Take him. I can say that February. When was Super Bowl? February 7th this year. February 8th, I'd say Christian McCaffrey #1 pick in your next year's draft. That's how dominant. I don't care about the offseason. I don't care about anything. He is that good.
Yep.
You said
Yeah.
that's all. That's all you gotta say. #2, coming in at #2, we each have him at 2. Is another guy like McCaffrey, just on the Minnesota Vikings, Dalvin Cook. Again, one of those scenarios. What else to say? Last year, full healthy year, missed I think 2 games. One because of a death in his family, which is personal, which you can't. My condolences to him and his family. And 2, I think he did have a little high ankle sprain, and Alexander Madison got to play the lead role and didn't really do much with it. And it's a shame, but Dalvin Cook, when healthy, plays a whole year. Hopefully, he's arguably the second best running back in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, there was games where he's getting 30 carries on top of his receptions. That's just an absurd workload.
And with his quarterback,
right,
it's a Dalvin Cook show there in Minnesota.
All right, I think that's pretty much it for him. He's a beast.
At #3, I have him at 4. You have him at 4, but because we have a little bit different rankings, the average he is lower technically than the other 2. But at 3, we have Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry last year broke out, and everybody knows, he just gets better with every game. He'll start off 6 points, 7 points. Don't panic if you have him. He'll get you your 40-point games, and he's got 2,000 rushing yards last year. That's unheard of, and he's set to get a better O-line this year and do it again. And they're losing wide receivers, the Titans, and they want to work on his passing game. These are all beautiful things you hear, music to your ears. And we saw, I had him last year, and I was big on the whole, at college, Nick Saban used him so much everywhere to get him the championship. They got the AFC Championship 2 years ago. Last year, the Ravens beat him. If they use Henry and ride Henry, he can be so good. And I think on #3, not much to say about him.
Yeah, I mean, the reason he's not higher is just because he doesn't catch as many passes as these other guys. But what he does with his rushing makes up for that pretty much. I mean, we see him constantly every year. He stiff arms someone into the dirt. He takes off for 80 yards. He's a complete freak of nature, and I think RB3 is where he belongs.
Guaranteed 3 yards, 3 or 4 yards of carry almost every time. He's just that big.
Yeah, right. Never doesn't fall forward.
Go ahead, take away #4, sir. It's your guy.
Okay, #4 we got Saquon Barkley. I actually have him as #3 in my rankings. I mean, a little bit of bias, but Saquon's he's another one of those outliers where he'll be, he has a bad O-line, so he'll go and he'll have 10 carries for a minimal amount of yards, and then all it takes is he'll catch one swing pass and he's gone to the house, and there's your fantasy week right there. So he's one of those guys you can never count out, never worry when you're playing him. And his biggest problem these last 2 years have been injuries. If he stays healthy, he's debated as the #2. Right, rookie year, he's doing absurd things.
Healthy, and he was doing so well. Yeah.
Right. So last year, I'm pretty sure he was the second running back taken off the board.
Yep.
So I mean, he stays healthy, he'd be in that conversation again. So I got to keep him high, and I have him. I have him at 3, and he's our consensus 4.
Yeah, I got him at 5, and just to touch on what Ryan you're saying, he does get a lot of that passing work. He's there, he's that good, and he is hard to take down. And it's a shame that last year his injury, the 2 plays before he got hurt, he was out on the sideline for his hand. Everybody's like, oh, maybe he's gonna miss out because of his hand, and no, he can come back in, and then 2 plays later he hurts his knee, and it's an ACL. It was so, it felt so bad. It was like,
it sucks. It really is a gut punch.
It was like the fate wanted him to miss that game, and he wanted to go fight for his team. Especially after that week 1 really tough match against the Steelers, and no question the Steelers are, they've been together for longer than Daniel Jones in that offense, so that was tough. But people don't forget about Saquon here. Saquon can be easily. Where's the highest you think he can finish this year? Do you think he has potential to be #1?
No, I think McCaffrey's kind of
got that locked up.
Got that spot locked down, but he can easily beat out. Cook gets hurt and Henry doesn't catch passes. He's up there, right there, number 2. So
I'm the same way. I think he has legit chance to be number 2. I think even with Cook healthy, I think with the emergence of Justin Jefferson, that team's gonna go more pass heavy now, and they're gonna obviously that means Dalvin Cook will get more reps in the passing game, but I think Saquon full healthy season will he has potential to be number 2 on the year behind McCaffrey. Well, with
absolutely.
that, we're gonna go to 5 here, and 5 is where the question marks start coming out. I have him at 3. Ryan's got him at 5, and he's going to be our consensus number 5 here, and that's Alvin Kamara. And the only reason I have him high is because we've talked about it privately. I think Alvin Kamara, no matter what his quarterback scenario is, Sean Payton, smart head coach of the New Orleans Saints, knows how to get Kamara the ball and knows how to get his playmakers the ball, and he will. Whether that's Taysom Hill under center, James Winston under center, or Forrest Gump under center. Whoever's under center, Alvin Kamara will get the ball, will be dominant, doesn't produce a lot of yards in rushing compared to the guys above him, but the passing work is there, and when he's in open field, he is so fun to watch, and it's
Right.
it's incredible. So, Alvin Kamara,
Right.
number 5.
Let me talk about him real quick. So, obviously, Kamara is a freak no matter who's the quarterback, but we saw last year, although it was a small sample size, with Taysom Hill under center, which is still a complete, realistic possibility at this point, he didn't catch nearly enough passes as that he needs to maintain his top 3 spot in fantasy. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, for sure.
And when I'm ranking and when we're both ranking, our job is to rank players relevant to their skill, but with the least amount of risk. So after, CMC, what's his risk? Injury. Cook, what's his risk? Injury. Henry, what's his risk? Realistically, injury. Saquon, same situation. Obviously, he's lower because of the O-line, so there's more risk. But now Kamara has quarterback questions, so he's got to fall a little bit. If it comes out that Jameis is the quarterback, maybe he's more inclined to dump it off to him. So if that's the case, then he might shoot back up the rankings. But as of right now, he is where he is due to the quarterback question marks. And that's it.
I just want to note off of that, when we had that small sample size with Taysom Hill under center, Kamara's snap percentage did go down as well. They seem to lean more on Latavius Murray and getting him more rushing attempts. I don't know if that's a product of Latavius Murray being a better runner or proven to be a better runner than Kamara, or what Sean Payton was thinking there. Or, he did have easier matchups. They played, I think, the Broncos and the Panthers, I believe. They had one more team because I think we had 3 games we saw them. But I know the games are a little bit easier matchups. So I don't know if Sean Payton's extremely smart. So everything we take is with a grain of salt until we actually get that set in stone, who their quarterback is, because then that can really impact where Kamara is on both of our rankings.
Right.
So with that, we're gonna go to 6. And at 6, we both have him at 6, which is, I think, a good spot for him right now, and that's Ezekiel Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys running back, who, had nothing go right for him last year. Losing O-line, losing Dak, terrible defense, losing the second string quarterback in Andy Dalton, to having some Italian guy throw the ball for him. I don't even remember his name.
DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci. There he is. Ben DiNucci came in, almost was a hero against, I think, the Eagles. Oh, man, or whoever they played. But Zeke, nothing was going his way, and still finished at running back 9 on the year last year. Only positive things to come this year. I have him at 6. So, Ryan, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So obviously, when Dak went down, it was a complete downhill, slope after that for him. But in those games with Dak, he did have 20 points a week, those are RB1 numbers. So you take those games and what Dak was doing and what Dak still will have to do with this bad defense. He might not rush the ball as much because of that negative game script, but if he's out there catching passes, that only helps him too. So we got to keep him still in that top tier. So that's all I got for Zeke.
Yeah, for sure. With that, I think that's enough on Zeke, man. I mean, Zeke.
Yeah.
We can go on to 7. I hope Zeke, will go higher, but if everything goes right, maybe he is higher. But for now, let's go to 7. And seven's a guy you have at seventh. I have him at eighth, and our consensus ranks I put him at average. That's seven. That's Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers, who honestly, with 2 years ago without Adams, it was the Aaron Jones show, and then with Adams, it was the no Aaron Jones show. It was just all Adams. Last year with both of them on the field a lot, it they both got the piece of the pie. They both got to do something with it. Aaron Jones, his touchdown was down a little bit from last year, 2 years ago, because he was, as we all know, the most tied for the most touchdowns in the league 2 years ago. Last year he, lost that, but his yards increased, his catches increased, his receiving touchdowns increased. Jamal Williams wasn't really much of a factor anymore. Aaron Jones really stole the show, and he put respect on his name, because he is now all running. He's in the running back one and top 8 category here. So, uh, Aaron Jones, there's nothing like, AJ Dillon's there. They drafted AJ Dillon, but they also drafted Jordan Love, and I think those guys aren't taking over just yet. AJ Dillon and his massive quads, and the Eddie Lacy style kind of guy,
Yeah.
but they like
Well,
Aaron Jones.
they lost Jamal Williams. So worst case is he comes in and he takes over that Jamal Williams role, which didn't do enough to damage obviously what Aaron Jones was doing. So and they
And
signed him, so they like
I
him
was gonna
there.
say, and they signed. They gave him the bag. You don't give the
Right.
guy a
So
lot
for
of money
the
for
next
nothing.
few years, he should be in this
Should be
RB1
good.
range.
Yeah, he shouldn't be touched. He shouldn't be getting giving too many touches away to AJ Dillon is what I'm trying to spit out here. So we like him at 7. At number 8 is
Austin Eckler, baby.
Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler, close enough to my last name, well, as close as it gets. Michael Eckler, I pretty much could be Austin Eckler. No, I'm just kidding. Now, Austin Eckler, if he didn't get hurt last year, he's nothing but an asset for Justin Herbert in his rookie year. And at point, the report was that he wasn't gonna. It seemed like he wasn't gonna play. He couldn't even put pressure. It looked like he tore his ACL the way he got off that field last year, and it was only a hamstring. He could not walk on it. It was surprising that he came back last year and even did anything. But to be honest, they needed him. The Chargers want to do anything. Joshua Kelly, Justin Jackson, who plays one game, he's hurt. Joshua Kelly couldn't even make 10 yards out of 20 carries. It was tough to watch. Eckler is awesome. He's an awesome pass catcher.
Right.
And that offensive line increase. So we have him at 8, and we like him
Yep,
there.
young quarterback, and he's a safety blanket for that young quarterback. And there's a statistic where tight end targets and running back targets are heavily correlated. So losing Hunter Henry is only a boost for Eckler's targets. So he could honestly you could have him above any of these guys in this range with him. But
he definitely can finish like 3rd on the year if he plays a whole healthy year.
Right, if he stays healthy, absolutely.
That team's rocking, yeah. He's that good. All right, number 10 or number 9. I'm sorry, number 9. Jumping ahead here. We are both agreeing at number 9 is Nick Chubb, big boy from the Cleveland Browns.
So good.
I think this is just another Derrick Henry sort of thing. Not that he doesn't, catch a lot of passes, but he also has Kareem Hunt there who takes the passing work. Kareem Hunt is a pass catching back. And Nick Chubb, you can still put him in your lineup and guarantee running back 1 status as long as the game script's going their way, which the Browns improved everything last year, made it to the playoffs for the first time in 25 years or whatever, 20 years. Congrats to them. Yeah, Chubb guarantees at least one. Ryan told me a few years ago, Chubb will guarantee at least 1 carry for 25 plus yards, 50 yards a game, 40 yards a game. And I was like, no way. And every game he really does. Every game he breaks out at least 1 40-yard run. It's crazy how good he is. He sees the ball. Overall, I think he's the best vision ball carrier in the league. Like his cuts are amazing. He sees the hole. He reads the hole. He's so good. It's just
he's incredible.
It's just one of those things. No passing work like Henry.
Right.
For us. For me.
But that offensive line is amazing there. Yes. They lean on him to be, that guy in their offense, the number 1 option in the running game. Obviously, Kareem Hunt does come in, but we saw last year Kareem Hunt by himself. He didn't perform how, everyone expected him to. So that could, they need Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb's great. He is similar to Saquon in the way where all it takes is 1.
Yeah.
And it's to the house. And but again, the damper on him is he does still share that backfield. So but he still belongs there. He makes enough plays.
Okay, now I can jump into 10, not get ahead of myself here. At 10, you have him at 11. I have him at 13 is Joe Mixon. Our consensus ranking, that's 10. Joe Mixon, played 6 games last year. Out of those 6, 2 of them in the top 5. I could check that. One of them, I think he had a RB1 finish too.
Yeah, he had
Uh,
like 30 something points. Nuts.
And again, it's one of those scenarios. They're getting their quarterback back. Burrow should be ready by week 1. They should get O-line. They should keep increasing that O-line, so it should be only positive things for him. This comes in a little bit of a risk factor and why he's a little bit lower than everybody. But Joe Mixon has the talent and he has the potential to be phenomenal. It's just a matter of health, and his health risk is higher than the other guys we've named. That's why he's down this low for me, and I just want to see him play more than 6 games, 7 games. You got any thoughts on that?
Yes, sir. Pretty much same thing. Comes down to his health. Comes down to that offensive line. If they take Penei Sewell at
Penny?
what are they picking? 5, 4, 5. They take Penei Sewell at 5, and they add a great offensive lineman to that team. That does nothing but help them. If the team's winning some games and Joe Burrow's healthy, Mixon might be incentivized to get back on the field. I know last year every week there was a rumor, oh, he's coming back this week or reevaluated this week, and then what do you know? Before you know it, it's week 16 and you're season shot.
Yep.
So he definitely presents more risk than the other guys because year in, year out, he seems to be dealing with some sort of injury. But, just based on his workload and what his upside is that we do see in flashes every year, he belongs to be in this top 10.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to number 11, almost wrapping up our running backs. At 11, you have him at 10. I have him whopping 15. Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm all ready to defend why I have him at 15. I know a lot of people are like,
Go, take it away, Meek. Let them know.
I have him at 15 solely because they lost Mr. Dink and Dunk himself, Philip Rivers, who we've seen his whole career drop back, see one guy coming out, dump it to the running back. Drop back, dump it to the running back right away. Philip Rivers is good for that. Carson Wentz, not. Yeah, Carson Wentz will roll out, throw the deep ball across the body, picked off, or take a sack. When Carson Wentz doesn't do that, it's just, quarterback goes down. On top of that, their O-line took a hit. You lost their big left tackle, Canizaro. I apologize if I'm not saying his name properly here, but he is great next to Quentin Nelson on that left side. Losing him hurts. They want to fill that void some way, somehow, but there's no ifs, ands about it. I think tackles are extremely important in the league, especially with how good these defensive ends are in a lot of these teams. And it's just that's not ideal. Because Taylor is one of those guys who's got breakaway speed. He needs to get to the edge. He gets to the edge, he's gone. He's good. That's how good he is. Now losing a tackle, he might have to chip more. He might have to block more. So, and he won't be able to get to the outside more. And he looked bad early on last year, trying to make people miss and up the middle runs. It didn't look good. And on top of all this, Mac's healthy. Mac didn't really do anything last year because he got hurt in the first drive of the season. But the year before that, 1,000-yard rusher, with Jacoby Brissett under center. And Mac not going to come in and take his job back, but he'll definitely be there. Hines played great last year. Hines is only going to do better, and they still have Wilkins. It's a 4-down back. I just don't like Taylor. I know he's good. He'll have upside.
Listen, I agree with your take. It makes perfect sense, but last year the situation was similar. I mean,
it's better than this year, though. Better than this upcoming year. But it's early.
You're right. But still, but what did he finish last year? Do we have the numbers on him?
Yeah.
Like the RB8 or something?
Last year he finished at 6.
Okay, so he finished as the RB6, 6. And we have him ranked down here at 11. So obviously things get worse from last year. He was invested highly in last year's draft. He became the main guy. I mean, Hines is obviously always going to have that pass catching role, but if Taylor's the main guy and he's getting the goal line work and he's doing his thing on a good offense with a good defense, it benefits him. And that's where we differ. Obviously, we see different things. I really disregard that O-line. Their O-line's still great.
Yeah, I mean, their O-line is going to be great. And I don't want to touch upon too much about that passing rate that you're mentioning, but Hines almost had double his target share. So
which is expected.
That's with Rodgers. I mean, not Rodgers. Yeah, I wish Rodgers. That's with Rivers. Rivers isn't there no more. Uh,
Right.
we've seen guys last year. I mean, David Montgomery's a guy who finished fourth, fifth, fourth, and we don't even have him in the top 12. So,
Well,
Taylor, he's
the
got a
team's
difference.
bad, and
I
their
know
quarterback
he's
situation got worse.
um,
Well,
Colts. Thanks. Team's bad. The only thing that's saving the Colts
okay,
is
but who's the better talent? Who's the better talent? David Montgomery. If you're
obviously,
starting an
honestly,
NFL franchise, who would you want as
Jonathan
your
Taylor.
starting running back?
I'd rather
Thank
have
you.
Jonathan
That's
Taylor.
it. So talent wins out in that situation. And
Yes,
the Colts
and
aren't the Bears.
I get that. Yes, I completely agree. And Matt Nagy is not Frank Reich, but Frank Reich being a lot more, offensive minded and just smarter in general. I mean, Matt Nagy, stick a fork in my eyes when I'm watching the Bears
Garbage.
offense. But I mean, I'll defend the Jonathan Taylor down a little bit. But I'm not. I'm not saying the high upside games are there. I really do think he can finish like RB8 this year, RB7 this year. I think he can do it again. I want to be proven wrong, but right now, early on, I got him just outside the RB1 range. I like him still, but well, enough of that, dude. I can go for days on Jonathan Taylor, why I'm defending, why he's down a little bit. But we're gonna go wrap it up here. And at number 12, I have him at 12, you have him at 13, and that's Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson, there's not much to say. He was electrifying last year as a rookie running back.
Really good.
Talked about
Good
late.
defense.
He talked about late, like late last year going into the season, they started bringing his name up. Like, oh, Ron Rivera likes how he's a pass catcher and a wide receiver. He was a wide receiver who switched to a running back coming out of college. So he has the pass catching work. But J.D. McKissic took a lot of that work. I don't think that's going to be the same thing under Fitzpatrick. Alex Smith, hats off to him, dude. That was an incredible story. Awesome comeback. I hope his retirement is healthy, but
Cut it out. He looked bad. He was bad.
he was bad. He was bad. The story was amazing. Gameplay, abysmal. Fitzpatrick, magic. He'll get something done. Antonio Gibson had some touchdowns last year. He lost carries. He lost a lot. I mean, McKissic had 100 targets last year. I mean, come on. We're going to have some of that's going to go to Gibson this year. And Gibson already last year finished, I think, let me get the facts here. He finished 13th. So right outside that ranking, right where you have him, he's going to only increase, and that whole team's increasing. You mentioned it. The defense is good. The defensive line's good. That defense is going to get better, hopefully. Maybe they draft Caleb Farley. They should be, that division's a little bit weaker, so he has a little bit better matchups there. They made the playoffs. They got nothing but positives coming out of that team. And I like him at 12, dude.
That's what it comes down to. He's not 12 in my individual rankings, but obviously in our
close
consensus
enough.
he is. Yeah, he is right outside of it. But the good defense, added weapons on offense, and how good he looked last year, and how much the coaching staff does like him. It's only right that he belongs up in this conversation. And
yeah, it's a matter of time until he takes over.
Right, exactly, and takes over in a big way, more than he already has. So I'm a big fan of Gibson, and
yes, sir.
in our home league, our keeper league here, one of our guys, Daniel, actually my brother, he gets to keep him what round? The 10th?
10th. Yep, that's incredible.
10th round keeper for what we have ranked as an RB1. So that's just
That's awesome. That's
kudos to him.
Yeah, that's where you want him. You
So,
got him late, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Well, that is our early pre-draft running back, and our early pre-draft quarterback rankings. I hope, again, like the quarterbacks, the running backs, same way. Please comment, say something, give us feedback. We want to know what you guys think. Did we leave someone out that you wanted to see, or do you like someone different? Do you want to argue with me with Jonathan?
Everything about the rankings?
Yeah. Do you want to argue with me with Jonathan Taylor? I'm down for that. You can message us, leave us your comments. If you want to be anonymous, go to our Instagram, go to the Linktree link, and you send us a question. You can leave your name anonymously if you want. You can make it Billy Bob. You can make whatever you want. Tell us feedback. We love it. We'll answer your questions.
Don't forget, follow us on our socials as well.
Yes, please follow us on the socials. Give us a shout out. Message us, whatever you want. Give us feedback. That's what we're here for. Improving it for you guys. We appreciate everybody watching. This is the first ever episode of the Two Dudes One Ball Fantasy Football Podcast. Ryan, it's been a great show, dude.
Yes, sir. I'm excited for the next one already.
I'm excited, and just to let you all know about the questions, you might be thinking like, "Oh, when are we gonna answer them?" I want to let you know we will be answering them on our Friday, Saturday, we're recording Friday. We'll post it Saturday, so your questions will be answered there. When the season gets going and we get to that point, we'll be doing it on Wednesday. So we answer and we'll post the video on Thursday, so you'll be able to read, see your questions answered before your Thursday games. If you have any sit questions for Thursday, about the matchup, about what's going on for the week, and then we'll do another session on Friday, which will be posted on Saturday for your Sunday matchups, your Sunday and maybe Monday, obviously Monday night games too. So again,
Right.
subscribe, turn that bell on, get notifications. Tell us give us your feedback, comment, everything. We enjoy everything. We appreciate everything. Peace and love from me. Have a good night, everybody, and
God bless.
God bless. Peace and love.
Thank you for listening to the Two Dudes, One Ball Fantasy Football Podcast. Please like, subscribe, and comment below.